Starlings. I know it's been a while and I have a semi-decent excuse. I moved and it in ties to this video, so it correlates, I promise. I recently moved across the country to the city of Los Angeles, and it's very echoey because I have a work section in my home, and then I have my actual living space, as you can see. So I decided I like this setup smidge more than just a plain white wall, which is what I have for everything else. But yeah, I moved, and that is why I wanted to make this video, and that is also why I've been missing from YouTube for about 3 going on 4 months, I want to say. But I was uploading shorts, so I think that still counts. Yeah. I also want to just do a little aside. Since it's the spooky season, as you can clearly see, it's a bat that's hanging upside down. It's from one of my patrons. I don't know if they want me to name names, but this was a gift I got for the holidays, so thank you so much. I've had this. I just haven't had a reason or place to wear it, so I'm wearing it today to go with everything else. I felt really, really cute, and I will now shut up and get to the actual point of this video, which is Los Angeles. About a year ago, I think, relatively close to a year, if not already a year, I made a video about being a wheelchair user, visiting Los Angeles, but as a tourist. Now I can sort of get some insight on what it's like living here day to day, and that's why this video is a tad bit delayed on top of a bajillion other things. First things first, I did pay to have my car brought all the way over here, so that is good. I'm so glad that I did. And I want to start by saying I've been going out, but I haven't really been driving many places because the freeways back home scared me, so you can imagine what LA freeways do to me. I did tack the LA freeway technically 2 different times. And the first time I was on the phone with my friend the entire drive because it was 45 minutes to an hour of a drive. I had to drive pretty far to get to a location, and I was so scared because it went from like 5 lanes to what felt like 16 different lanes, and I was in the wrong one. I had to get over and over and over and over and over. That's scary, and I don't think that's a wheelchair problem. I think that's just someone who is scared of other drivers problem. My problem. I live in a really nice area in the sense that I can get relatively anywhere I need to. I am very fortunate in that regard. So driving, I didn't know that a lot of the roads here are more than just 2 lanes for the surface streets. I didn't know that. I had to learn that. I also discovered people here don't know what a blinker is. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I had to explain that to my mother, and I had to explain that people here will just get in front of you within an inch of your bumper. Why? I don't know, and no one really does anything about it. So that's something to know, and that was a culture shock. I would also say, when it comes to parking, that was my biggest issue, because being in a big city, not every location is gonna have a parking lot. And if you have seen my other videos, you would know that my car unloads from the back, not the side. So I can't do street parking. So therefore, whenever I meet up with people, I have to inform them there has to be a parking lot somewhere. I'm not against crossing a street. I'm not against parking down a block and coming to meet people. That's been the biggest thing, and that's been my biggest struggle. But most people here in wheelchairs, they just have a regular car and they just take their chair apart, put the chair back together, and then they can park on the street if they need to. Most of them don't really have that issue. I have that issue because my car is built different. The community for not just wheelchair using people, but disabled people in general, is so vast here. I always say this when people bring it up. I grew up with basically just my family members who all have some form of disability or another. So coming here and just being surrounded by all these very, very different stories is another culture shock. And the stories are so unique and so interesting to listen to. And hearing how people go about their lives here versus what I grew up with is also very different. So I think having that sense of community and camaraderie is something I'm still trying to get used to, personally. I would also say I have not run into many issues when it comes to sidewalks and or accessibility. I can usually make things work, and normally working around an issue isn't that big of a deal for me. So while I haven't gone to many older places, I have not really run into an issue, knock on wood, somewhere, but I've gotten very, very lucky. I also get great recommendations from disabled people out here, the best places to grab a coffee, grab lunch for my friends that are able-bodied out here that wouldn't really know what to look for. I had friends that I'd ask them for suggestions on places to go here, and they would give great suggestions for coffee shops or restaurants, and then I find out they are street parking only because the buildings were built when like the city was. I also discovered that people out here, while they are kind, some of them get a little too pushy with wanting to be kind. I only say that because I've never run into someone who would just grab my chair back home. I grew up in a relatively small town, but I grew up in a Midwestern town mainly brought up by Southern folk. So take that culture with what you will. So coming here and people wanting to be helpful, and for the first time in my life, a stranger did grab my handlebar and said, oh, let me help you. And I was in my neighborhood. I wasn't at a store and I didn't really need assistance. So that was different. The person was totally cool when I said, I got it. They immediately let go. That's not something I'm used to. And apparently that's quite common out here. People just grabbing other people. So I did not know that. I also found out that not all places are accommodating when it comes to, a lot of this is car related. Back home, I could call up relatively any gas station if the number worked and ask them if they can come out and help me pump my gas because of safety reasons and concerns. There are wheelchair users who can get out of their car and do that. With my situation, it would just take so much time, and people here have no patience, none. And I found out very few gas stations actually, well, one, either answer the phone, or two, be willing to help you. I've been hung up on more times than I can count. Luckily, the place closest to my home, they have been great. I'm saying, yeah, absolutely, we will help you. So I got really lucky there. I just can't get gas anywhere else. I have never had an issue when it comes to slope, hills, whatnot. I find them to be great exercise for me, and I like a challenge. In my car is a different story. My car is a delicate flower, and I don't think it was ready, similar to me, just how massively steep these hills and roads can get, and just how sudden some of these divots will be. My car is fragile. The floor of my car is lowered, and it's done on purpose so that the ramp can come down at a proper 12 to 1 inch to foot ratio, something like that. I don't know math very well, but it's something along those lines. And so it's lowered, and I have to be very, very, very careful when it comes to hitting these divots or going up inclines or going down and then hitting the base of the road. So that's been a learning curve, and people, again, like I said, have no patience out here, and they've gotten so mad at me when I slow down to get over these bumps, and you just kind of have to learn to turn up the music a little bit louder and just keep going. That's what I've done anyway, and so far it's been pretty good. But I would say that is an issue, just learning the winding roads out here. Again, I grew up in a place that was the beginning of the valley, the Ohio Valley, essentially, and so it was all flat with the occasional hill, and it wasn't what this is. And I've been very lucky that a lot of my friends have been great about picking me up because we go to a lot of nighttime events out here. I'm not a nightlife person. I'm like 62 years old mentally. If the sun is down, I just want to be on my couch with something playing on TV, YouTube, Netflix, whatever, while I'm working on a drawing or a story. I'm old. And you'd think being in a city where the light pollution is astronomical, the few times I do go out and the sun has set and I have to go back home and I am driving, that I wouldn't have such a bad problem. My left eye doesn't know how to really be an eyeball. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses. I don't. It's a whole thing. And it's so hard to drive here at night. I don't know what it is. I think my brain just can't process it. And you would think with all these lights everywhere, I wouldn't have a problem. I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, maybe I can get more into the nightlife because it's so well lit at night anywhere you go in this city. No, I get like the tunnel vision, and then I think I'm being diagnosed with vertigo actually currently. Little mini life update. That might be my problem, mixed with my astigmatism. So yeah, nighttime driving and Lolita still don't mix, even in the city of, or is that New York City? Which one's the city that never sleeps and which one's the city of lights? But so far, in my almost half a year staying here, I've been pretty good about getting around and getting used to things. This place took me almost half a year alone to find. I had been looking for a very long time. and I've been looking with my parents, and I've been looking with friends. I got very, very lucky with this place, and it's not an ADA compliant home. It's just a regular living situation. And I've been very, very lucky that my neighbors are helpful, my landlord is helpful, because it's still not perfect, and this is the best option we've been able to find. So I've been very, very fortunate. I am realizing a lot of the ADA accommodations or assisted programs here, they put you in the very, very low income places, regardless. Like if you have a disability, that's where they're going to try and place you. And a lot of those places were too far away from where I wanted to be. I'm talking like an hour with the traffic here, and I didn't want to deal with that. So I hunted and I searched and found this place. I actually never saw it in person. I saw it online, and I did a little virtual tour. I just kind of had to hope and pray that it was legit, and it was. So I got very, very lucky. I'm very, very fortunate. But so far, my experience in the city has been pretty good. I've been able to go everywhere that I wanted to. It's just getting used to being in a city of almost, 4 million people, 3.5 million people versus a couple thousand. I'm kidding. But a much, much smaller scale, where the only time you're going to have a road that's even somewhat empty is going to be at 1 in the morning. So it's just a learning curve for me. This whole experience has been a learning curve, and it's been a new adventure, and I'm very, very grateful that I'm able to have this adventure. It's something I had been hoping and dreaming for since I was a kid, to be out here and doing the things that I love and being around. Pretty much all of my friends have moved out here, or they're in New York City, so a lot of my friends are here and I get to see them. And I told my mom this, I said I've been more busy in the past few weeks than I have been in probably a year and a half or two. I've been more busy, and I think it's a great feeling. I love socializing, I've discovered, to a degree. I enjoy the networking side. I enjoy learning the business side of the creative arts industry. I've attended so many cool events. I've seen so many cool landmarks that I've always wanted to see. I'd like to take pictures at the top of the Oscar stairs. I didn't know they were the Oscar stairs until Chrissy told me. I was baffled that we were in the same vicinity as the stairs. I've gotten to see a lot of really cool sites from people that just live here and know where to find them, and I'm really, really excited to see what happens next. I want to do more vlogging now that I'm in a city where there's so many things to do. I want to go to acting courses and just see where I place. I want to go to improv courses because that's a lot of fun. I want to visit a lot of the art museums here. I want to go to the national parks that are hours away, but I'm closer than I was before. So I hope to make more content that's not just based in one spot like I had been doing for the majority of my career on YouTube. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions that maybe I didn't touch on living in Los Angeles with a disability, I can't say anything about the medical side. I can't really say anything about the insurance side because I am not a resident of California. So I have nothing really to say on that except anecdotal evidence based on my friends who are residents here and have lived here for a very long time. But even then, I'm still learning all the tips and tricks and the ropes with all that. So I don't have any insight on that. I haven't really faced a lot of malicious ableism yet. I am learning a lot of inside things about the creative arts industry when it comes to minority groups that I only heard through the grapevine of the grapevine of the grapevine back home, and now being in buildings and being able to see all these things is very, very different, and it's a great thing for me to be learning about. So I hope to make more engaging content. I hope to make more adventurous content, and perhaps get some of my friends in on some ideas that I have. We shall see. I love vlogging, and I love taking up the mantle of what my father did when I was growing up. He was always the cameraman, and he was our home videographer, something I took on after he passed, and I've been doing it for years. And now that I have more things to do, hopefully, and more things to go and do with people, I hope that I can build up my digital photo album, if you will, video album, some more now that I'm out here with this whole new chapter. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry if it's shorter than most, especially after being gone for so long. I just really wanted to give a quick update on everything that's been going on. All of my social media links are in the description box below, along with a bunch of coupon codes from all different kinds of sites that can save you some money. Please comment down below if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. about this video, or if you have any video ideas, I'm always open to hearing some. And with all that being said, I will see you all later.